And we're on. Let's see go. Welcome to my videos. Today we're gonna be playing some Roblox.
That's where we started.
Oh, hey, what's up, man?
And if you have symptoms,
I just
talk
joined
to
him,
a
so
healthcare provider about getting tested. To move forward,
he gonna
let's
see
all
me,
do our
come on,
part.
so that don't matter.
So stay careful. Michigan.gov/coronavirus.
Lamborghini horse.
Conservatives went crazy about this video. I saw a bunch of them posting about it in West Texas. Of the local sheriff sending an armored vehicle and SWAT team, look at that thing, to raid a bar that stayed open in defiance of the stay-at-home orders. Police arrested 6 men at the bar who they say had loaded AR-15 type weapons, which may be the reason for the long guns in the armored vehicle, but I think just in the aggregate, the show of force is probably not necessary. It was an overwhelming reaction. And conservatives, I think, were right to look at the video and say, are we really doing this? This is nuts. And there was a bunch more of these. There's the woman in the playground who got arrested. There's the nail salon opener who was arrested. The hair salon owner who was arrested. Unfortunately, the kind of overaction you see on that video happens every day in America, particularly to marginalized people. There are entire books about this.
I'm about to get in there.
That's the issue at the heart of using the police as a tool of enforcement for stay-at-home orders and physical distancing. If you use law enforcement, you are going to, I guarantee you, extend, exacerbate, and replicate all the existing inequalities in our already broken criminal justice system. Here's video from last weekend of New York City cops violently throwing a black man to the ground in an incident that started with them enforcing physical distancing. Data backed it up. NYPD today said 81% of coronavirus-related summonses since the middle of March have been black or Hispanic residents. In Brooklyn, 35 out of the 40 people who were arrested on social distancing violations were black. ProPublica found in some of Ohio's most popular areas, black people were at least 4 times as likely to be charged with stay-at-home violations. Enforcement has obviously been highly disproportionate.
You know what?
And as we go back out into the
Get out the car.
Whatever it is,
get out the car.
The point is to establish physical distancing,
mask
wearing, and all sorts of precautions that we collectively engage together as a kind of act of bottom-up solidarity. A newly constructed social network. And if governments, or social workers, or community elders, or public health workers want to try to use moral persuasion and conversation and get people to adhere to those norms, I think that's a great idea. I think people with guns and handcuffs going around telling people to stand further apart is going to be a disaster. American justice system has enough to worry about. We've seen in just the last 24 hours. We will talk about that after this.
Kettle One Botanical. Vodka distilled with real botanicals for a fresh taste. And the most delicious part? No artificial flavors, sweeteners, or sugar. Kettle One Botanical. Real botanicals, fresh taste. Go miles,
What? I just saw.
walls, and circumstances keep us apart. We're all on the same team. For Imprint. Products for bringing teams together.
For people living with HIV, keep being you. And ask your doctor about Biktarvy. Biktarvy is a complete one pill, once a day treatment used for HIV and it's not a cure, but with one small pill, Biktarvy fights HIV to help you get to and stay undetectable. That's when the amount of virus is so low, it cannot be measured by a lab test. Research shows people who take HIV treatment every day and get to and stay undetectable can no longer transfer HIV. Ask your doctor if Biktarvy is right for you. Are you glad for innovation? Things that used to be big and bulky. Now
Declare 72OS.
even your hose. So the makers of the #1 expandable hose in the world.
I really want that Bugatti.
Silver bullet. Making other hoses obsolete.
I don't want these
that
blue
old
cars.
hose is a pain
I
in
want
the
the
grass.
orange cars.
But the new Silver Bullet is the hassle-free hose. Just turn on the water, and the
I
Silver Bullet
like
inflates from pocket size to
cars
super
that
size.
black and
It's
white.
the hands-free hose that
But
grows. Then turn off the water, and it shrinks back down to a super light
oh.
pocket hose. It's putting itself away. The other hose, it just sits there. No more dragging heavy hoses. No flipping and whipping to clear the kinks. The Silver Bullet will never kink. Look at that. I mean, that's a kink. And look at the water pressure. A Silver Bullet stores with ease. Perfect for boats or RVs. Look, your old hose and my Silver Bullet. Your old hose, my Silver Bullet. The exclusive bullet shell outer casing resists snagging, tearing, and wearing. It easily maneuvers around the garden without crushing your plants. And the Silver Bullet has no lead. These machine aluminum connectors make it safe for drinking. It's the lightest hose I've ever owned. Come on, dump the heavy old hose and get the bullet. Get the super light 25-foot pocket hose Silver Bullet today for only $19.99. Guaranteed to last a lifetime or your money back. You'll also get the turbo shot jet nozzle free. Now hold on. Order now. Double your order. Pay a separate fee. 2 hoses, 2 nozzles, 1 great deal. Stop wrestling with your old hose and catch a Silver Bullet today. This offer is not available on Amazon. To order, call 1-800-668-5084 or visit silverbulletHose.com. So call 1-800-668-5084 now.
Some companies still have HR
This dude got a better car than me. He gonna hop in mine.
entering data, changing data, more and more sensitive personal data. And it doesn't just drag HR down, it drags the entire business down with inefficiency, errors, and waste. It's ridiculous. With Paycom, employees enter and manage their own data in a single easy-to-use software.
I'm lying. Say hi. I'm not lying. I'm making a video. Say hi.
The last 24 hours in American justice, as with pretty much every 24 hours, have offered up a perfect example of fundamental abuse. On the one hand, there's Michael Flynn, who pretty clearly broke the law, taking money for his interest while disclosing it as qualifiers, and also lying to the FBI, which he admitted to. Yesterday, the Department of Justice took the extraordinary, a rare step of just dropping the charges against Michael Flynn after his guilty plea. Reason? Because Flynn has Rhode Island in the White House, where he used to be their national security advisor. The president liked him, and he was able to get his case heard by the Department of Justice's head, William Barr. Meanwhile, in Georgia, a 25-year-old black man out jogging in his neighborhood killed at the white man's pickup truck. And it takes 2 months. Several different district attorneys and huge national outcry for those men to even be arrested. Seeing fundamental justice all around us before the deepest human error. Also, the career book documenting this.
Oh, you know, yes, I like that game. Talk to Ford.
Best-selling book, The New Jim Crow, Mass Incarceration, The Age of Colorblindness, which is part of the modern canon on this topic. Michelle, it is great to have you. I suppose I wanted to start with sort of a broad question about, as someone who has thought deeply about the criminal justice system and equity, what you see happening at this particular moment in this crisis with that system.
Well, as you indicated earlier, what we're witnessing right now is egregious, but it's nothing new. What we're talking about here is the persistent devaluation of Black life and Black suffering. I hope by now we can see the patterns, the repeating patterns. I hope we can see the parallels between Trayvon Martin and Ahmaud Arbery. I hope we can see the similarities between drug law enforcement and social distancing enforcement.
Hit the bell.
As the drug war was kicking off, we were told that mass arrests of impoverished Black people were necessary because illegal drugs were so harmful to our people and our communities that police must throw us in cages if we're caught with them, and then upon release discriminate against us for the rest of our lives. This was the answer to drug addiction in Black communities. Meanwhile, white kids who were using and abusing illegal drugs often at higher rates were heading off to college. Now we're being told that because the government is so incredibly worried about us dying from COVID-19, those without masks. Not all of us, but some of us, throw us in cages where we're far more likely to contract the virus and potentially die. Meanwhile, there are videos of the police handing out face masks to white people sunbathing in groups on the lawn in city parks in clear
I gotta get
violation
300.
of the distancing rules. So we're in a moment
300 cash.
in which it's glaringly clear yet again that
Let me say
black
300
lives
cash.
don't really matter.
I just need
But
a
of
lot
course,
of money.
black people aren't the only ones who are suffering in these times, and so the question is whether we are
There's really nothing to do
willing
since the coronavirus, so I'm
collectively
just
to
playing
develop a
games
politics
on
of
Roblox.
deep solidarity
I haven't
and
searched
stand
up
up for
under.
one another across the lines of race, ethnicity,
I haven't tried
gender,
to search up
religion,
a game that gives
disability,
you Robux,
sexual orientation, and class,
and I was gonna
raise
post
our
that. I'm like,
voices to
nope.
defend
This
the
place
most
said they're gonna
vulnerable
give you
in these
Robux, and I
times.
went there. I'm like, that's
You know,
a
I think
scam.
this politics of solidarity
Dude
must
got
include
hacked.
support for our essential
When I mean
workers,
that dude got
as
hacked,
well as for black
I used a
people
different
wrestled
account
to
on
the ground
Roblox,
for
and that got
failing
hacked.
to wear a mask.
It was nothing even on
It
that account.
must
I was like,
include
what?
support for
What
the
they want
millions
with
who are
stuff?
now unemployed
Like it's nothing
because
on there.
of this
Nothing.
crisis, as well as those who didn't have a job before the crisis began.
Customize my
So I
car.
hope that we
I'm
will
just running around
vow
right now,
now
making
to
a lot of
ourselves
moolah.
that we will do everything in our power to leave
It's
behind
really
the
nobody
attitudes,
here. I was thinking about playing
systems, and
Piggy.
politics that led to the
Piggy or
recent death
Obby.
of Ahmaud Arbery
I mean,
and the brutal arrest of black people for violating social
I can make a
distancing
lot of
rules.
videos in one day.
So this question of how we, this sort of ethos of solidarity,
Damn,
I'm
a
thinking about
battery
a lot
for
in the context of these sort of social distancing, physical
like
distancing
free.
guidelines, right? Which is, it just seems to me obviously it's a disaster
Oh, I
to
tried to hit
have
that ramp.
police
I want to
be
turn around and do
the
that
means that
again.
you
I
bring
really
this
want to turn
going
around and do that
about.
again. I want to hit that
It's
ramp.
just not the right, it's not the right tool to solve the problem. It's also going to, like you said, it's going to lead to people being arrested and the sort of prevalence of this system. It's so striking to me that we just have such a hard time thinking outside of that framework for problem solving, right? Like, and that was the case with drugs. Like, drug addiction can be an incredibly destructive force in people's lives. There's different ways we can think about solving it. The way that we typically solve it was criminal justice system. In the same way, we have a public health problem. There are ways to think about solving it that are not the criminal justice system.
That's absolutely right. There's the saying, if all you've got is a hammer, then everything looks like a nail. But the reality is we've long had more tools at our disposal. And, just as the recent news regarding the racially disparate enforcement of socially distancing laws reveals, is that some tools are used in some communities and other tools are used in other communities. And so it's not that we don't know how to respond to problems like drug addiction and drug abuse with care, compassion, and concern. We know how to make drug treatment available on demand, but we choose not to, or we choose to offer it to those who can afford it, or to people living in more privileged communities, and we deny it to those in others, and instead give them cages and lifelong discrimination against them. So it's not that we lack imagination about how to respond to care and concern. In fact, we're going to ask ourselves, how would we respond if it was our own lives, our own children's lives at stake? Suddenly, we would have a much more creative range of ideas and solutions about how to respond, rather than, wrestling people to the ground, arresting them and locking them in cages. It's only because we have so devalued the lives of poor people and people of color in this nation that our imagination has been so limited with respect to them. And this has consequences for all of us. Our refusal to grant universal health care to all is now resulting in a health care crisis that affects us all much more severely than it would have if we had a much more robust health care system in the first place.
Can I swear? Let me guys do that.
Michelle Alexander, it is such a great treat to have you on the program. Please come back anytime. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me.
Up next, why have Senate Republicans all but abandoned the coronavirus recovery effort? The Democratic leader in the Senate, Chuck Schumer, joins
Marvin, why you gotta do that?
Okay, roleplay. Jamie Mars, the customer.
Excuse
me, would you be interested in bundling your home and auto with the rest?
Darn it.
No.
What the?
Save money. I'm independently wealthy.
We got that much, so.
I have a bodyguard. Okay, this is totally unrealistic.
Right?
I can do that. Hey, my name is Jamie, and I'm here to say... Jamie! Every financial plan needs a CFP professional.
Turn that TV down. Jeez, where could people act like they deaf. They got the TV all the way up.
CFP professional. Find yours at letsmakeaplan.org.
How?
Just your lawn. It's your airway to heaven. Your green blaze of glory. It deserves C400. The class leading speed, agility, simple deck height adjustment.
Look at my wings.
Professional grade Kubota C400.
I think they're getting old. I can't pronounce that. I don't know. Carnage. Lamborghini. Oh, I want that. I need that. What's up there? That's a Bugatti.
Download the free app now. Kettle One Botanical. Vodka distilled with real botanicals for a fresh taste. And the most delicious part is only 73 calories. Kettle One Botanical.
I want that McLaren F1.
Fresh taste.
McLaren F1. I want that.
Turmeric helps with healthy
No, like when I find somebody who says I can drive this car, I'll be like, yes, I'm desperate. I don't like it when I gotta drive with this little stick thing. It's hard to do it on the phone. Like, I gotta leave. Yeah, I wanna leave so bad. Like, what time is it? I want a Toyota! You know I wanted to know yet. I wanted to know yet. Okay. Dude, look at your hair. Like, for real. He's in high school. I don't like that. I really don't. You kinda look fly. But you're not. What this dude playing right now? He playing Jeff. I wanna play Jeff right now. Okay, I'm not gonna end the video like that. I'm gonna end it by playing Jeff. I might do an obby if I'm desperate. I'm desperate.
The doctors and nurses, the pharmacists and social workers, the emergency responders and service workers. You have our gratitude. And to our members, you have our commitment.
I'm gonna turn my light off. No, don't.
With Dr. Ezekiel Emanuel for an inside look at the coronavirus. We're probably going to need multiple drugs to treat this virus, from the latest research into treatments to ways for us all to stay safe.
Yeah.
Go to work and risk spreading the virus. That's becoming the inescapable dilemma for millions of Americans. The special live series continues. The Last Word. Life in the Time of Coronavirus. Tonight at 10 on MSNBC. Senate back in session. Republicans are increasingly sending the signal in a kind of unified way that basically, we done our part, get back to work, America, we wash our hands. Give newell rights and slate, quote, in terms of additional legislation that might support the shattered nation, the Senate Republican caucus is on a self-described pause right now that is set to expire on, well, no one can really say. That is not how Democrats are dealing with this pandemic. They've got tons of plans for a new round of legislation, and here to talk with me about those plans, the Democratic leader in the Senate, Chuck Schumer. Senator, I wanted to start with something that one of your Republican colleagues said today about the prospect of another kind of rescue package, a new CARES Act. And this is Senator John Kennedy, a witty guy in the Republican caucus from Louisiana. He was asked about another round of stimulus checks. He said, well, people in hell want ice water too. Like, going out of business. People can't feed their children and themselves. And these guys say, boss, you know who they remind me of? Herbert Hoover. When we were on the edge of a potential depression, Herbert Hoover said, let's do nothing. That's what these guys are saying. And doing nothing could well create the second Great Depression. We need help and help quickly. We Democrats in the House and Senate are working on a big, bold, strong package that will deal with so many of the problems we face. I mean, you know, Mitch McConnell comes up with this idea that we should let state and local governments go bankrupt. This is not an abstract concept, Mitch. These are firefighters who protect us, bus drivers who drive the buses, people who work in healthcare, food safety inspectors. These are the people who would be thrown out of work through no fault of their own. In fact, 1 million people in state and local governments lost their jobs. We need money to help them keep working. We need money to provide food for people so they don't have to watch their children go
I still survive.
to get our schools going again.
I'm playing a different game. Nope, I still got my money. I still got $2,000, so I'm good. Not 2,000, like something thousand. Wait, if I don't escape, that's not good. I can do that. No. What? He really is stupid. He couldn't even see that.
Last time when they didn't want to do much, to take big bold action.
Stupidest thing to do.
That they're essentially bluffing because they want to essentially anchor the negotiations in nothing, and then there'll be some horse trading words that they come out and they say, yeah, we want to do big stuff too.
Did he just die? There goes my friend right here. Naruto. I don't know how to pronounce the rest. That's my friend. I've been recording for 22 minutes and 46, now 7, now 48, now 49, now 50 seconds. 6,000 likes. Chapter 5 at 6,000 likes. And then chapter 5 come out. Give the video 2 likes. No, not 2 likes. Maybe something big. Like 5,000 likes or something. I don't know. Just give me some likes. That's my first like of this video. Cause that old channel was boo trash. Trashy. And that dude at the back, he looks creepy, like, how you do it? He's like,
One of the priorities, I think, for the benefactors of the party and others is this idea of some kind of liability indemnification, right? That employers should be statutorily shielded from any civil suits if they say close down a factory or they open a workplace and people come and get sick.
Melvin, you the head in time. When are you done recording this video?
Well, the bottom line is very simple. They want to say if a employer, a boss, says to a worker, you got to sit next to someone who has COVID, who has all the signs
I'm recording.
without any protective equipment, and you're absolved from any liability, well, that should not happen, and it will not happen. McConnell got stuck.
Dude, open the door.
Let the states and localities go bankrupt. So he knew that was wrong, but he still doesn't want to really help them. So he tries to put this thing out there, which helps the big corporate bosses and nobody else. It's not going to stand. Just like last time when he said, we will only do these 2 things in the first COVID bill, or he said we're only going to do PPP and not help minorities and not help unbanked people in the second one. He's going to have to fold, and you know why? Because the country is on our side. This idea that Republicans have. Let the private sector solve the problem.
Wanna be my bees. Wanna be my bees. Wanna be my bees. I wanna do favorite players.
Backed up by most of the people.
Skill shop.
There are
Man, I don't care. I don't. Wait, what?
Voting this fall, particularly I think brought into relief by what we
Night 4. This is freaking night 4.
The
And
last CARES Act, not the 3.5
don't make me make it.
the act before that, the big one.
I mean, don't make me.
It had,
I ain't got no time for these.
Is that a must-have for Democrats?
No!
That is a kind of like a bright line.
And I just asked not to be him. And you just made me him. They really just made me him. They really just make me him. I can't make me. I'm bad at this game. I can make a person mad. I really I'ma get you now. Don't be running away from me. Kill you right now. And you gon' be running for your life now. I don't care if you die or not. I'ma get you with Corona. Corona. I see you though. So bad, I'm coming. You better watch it, watch bad. 'Cause I'm coming for you and me. Coming for your mama too. Ooh, better run, 'cause I'm coming. Might be bad, the game, but I'm not. I am getting.
He is rated qualified for the appellate position, which makes sense because he didn't practice trial law.
I will get you and I will eat your head. First off, our back, your head, then your toe. Got you. I got you. You can't be running. I will get you. Don't play with me. Don't play with me.
We bring Powell, we bring a Burks before these committees, and they can ask them real tough questions. And what does McConnell do? Brings in a crony of his, who's a hard right guy and so out of touch with the times. This guy is repeal of the ACA at a time when people are desperate for health care. McConnell doesn't do anything about COVID this first week we're back.
No, I want to go.
Focuses on trying to get someone who wants to repeal the ACA on the second most important court in the land. It is so out of touch with what the American people need, and it shows again that Mitch McConnell goes by his ideological
I just got that, dude.
And just about nobody else. It's like an ostrich. The country's burning. The country's burning, and they're fiddling. They're fiddling.
We got a computer.
But I think Hoover is the best analogy. Officers named Nero Hoover, Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, from his home.
Can't be running from me. Don't be running from me. Don't be playing like that. No! Blah, blah!
I would like to thank you for being here by introducing you to Warnell Vega. Watch this. God bless.
Hello, my name is Warnell Vega. I tested positive for COVID-19. I've been in the hospital for
Let me get you. Oh, Franklin did not kill him. I am an evil, and I'm genius. Dun, dun, dun. I'm an evil genius. I am an evil genius. I am an evil genius. I am an evil genius. No! 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 Why did I? What? How did that? Never mind. I'm good, baby.
So I just made it home.
Good.
First time being back home after being in the hospital for.
You know what? I give up. I'm not gonna kill you. Kill you. Oh my god, man. I'm playing all kind of games sometimes. I don't know what to play. This dude right
My name is Raymond Sangster, the last name. I'm a COVID survivor. I was admitted to Mount Sinai Hospital on the 5th of April.